we were covering the hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday with Merrick Garland, where it was obviously just one long exercise in obfuscation. And I don't know. I don't talk to him. I'm hands off when it comes to this investigation. That's a question for Mr. Weiss. That's a question. And we all know when David Weiss gets before the Congress, he's not going to answer these questions either. Mm-hmm. And what's clear is they slow rolled the whole investigation against Hunter and until the statute of limitations expired on the most serious crimes. And now they're left with just crumbs, which who knows if they're going to pursue or they're not. The gun charge, all right, whatever. The tax charges, we'll see. But the meat of the case is already gone. This, while they've been incredibly aggressive against not just the former president, but obviously the leading candidate for the Republican nomination against Joe Biden, their boss right now. So give us your take on how things are developing when it comes to the criminal prosecutions against Trump versus Hunter.
I don't actually, on the politics side, you won't find me going on Fox or anywhere else saying, I support this guy. And no. I look at this as a former chief of staff to an attorney general, Ed Meese. If somebody had come to Ed Meese and said, we're going to get a criminal warrant against Jimmy Carter. We've gone to him 2-3 times. He won't give us our documents. And we're going to send a SWAT team down there when he's not home. And we're going to go into his home and we're going to search his bedroom. We're going to search his wife's drawers. We're going to go into the closet. This was really a general warrant, to be perfectly honest with you. But we're going to do it. You know what Ed Meese would have said? Get your ass the hell out of my office. What are you, nuts? And he would have said that primarily because, do you know what this is going to do to the country? Now, look, you're a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. Other lawyers out there, they could have pursued this civilly. They could have gone to a court. They could have gotten an order for Trump to turn over the documents. If he didn't turn over the documents, the court could hold him in contempt and you follow that civil trail. But they didn't want to. Even though there were some FBI agents who apparently were appalled at this whole track they were following, well, they were basically squelched by senior leadership. One of the guys who's a senior leader is in the national security side. He's this little guy who's very aggressive. In my view, he's got issues, but that's the way it is. And he even has a lawyer for another defendant in this case who's filed a complaint with the judge saying that basically extorted him. He said, if you can get your client to flip against Trump, then you may have a better shot at a federal judgeship in Washington, D.C. That still hasn't been resolved, and he's still in court in Florida arguing case. I've never seen anything like this in my life. But just let me tell you a secret. I don't care what these former presidents say. They've all taken documents home. You don't even have to keep them. If you take a document home and you don't deal with it properly, that is technically a violation of the Espionage Act. But here's the problem. The Espionage Act was passed in 1917. It was passed by Woodrow Wilson and the Democrats to go after his political opponents who opposed World War I. There are very broad sections in that act. It was used against W.E.B. Du Bois, as a matter of fact. And it was used against others who were planning on running against Wilson for president. That's the law they're using. But what they didn't have back down there was the Presidential Records Act, which was passed in the 1970s and was implemented during the Reagan administration. And under the Presidential Records Act, no longer can a president take documents and keep them personally. In other words, you can buy, for instance, signed documents by presidents, official documents. I've had many of them. I had the first appointment of a Supreme Court justice signed by John Jay, who received it as the Chief Justice, George Washington, who made the nomination. I donated it to Hillsdale College. You can't, as a president, do that anymore. You can't take those documents with you and keep them. That statute actually protects Donald Trump. It's the Presidential Records Act. And why does it protect Donald Trump? Because it trumps, in my view, the Espionage Act. A president, it was never intended for a president to be charged under the Espionage Act of the United States any more than it was Hillary Clinton. But Hillary Clinton didn't have the Presidential Records Act. She was not protected under the Presidential Records Act. And yet they didn't bring charges against her. And they bring these charges against Trump, and they do these things that no administration before this would ever do. And so you have the potential put aside all the rest of the cases, that Donald Trump would spend the rest of his life in prison over documents? They have no evidence that he sold any information, that he gave any information to the enemy. They're doing the usual, well, he told somebody not to talk about the boxes and the usual obstruction stuff and so forth. You're trying to set up a guy who's a candidate for president of the United States. This is what I object to. Mm-hmm. Because if you can weaponize the Department of Justice this way, the power of the federal government, the power of the central government knows no limits. That's why Garland was playing rope-a-dope all day. He can't defend this, and he's not going to defend it. They just do it, and nobody's going to stop him.
Can you speak to the consequences of the deteriorating faith we have in the rule of law, in the Department of Justice, in the FBI? You know, there was a time when we used to believe in these organizations, and it was important that we believed in them. But now, between what they're doing to Trump versus Hunter, what they've done to, parents, domestic terrorists, the lopsided way that this DOJ goes after cases, not to mention what we had under Eric Holder, you can feel it going down the drain.
The Biden, either he or his people, they appointed the most radical senior leadership at that department in American history. They're all Obama clones. They all worked for Obama in one form or the other. The Deputy Attorney General is truly a radical left-wing political bomb thrower. She's running the place. Everybody knows it. Name is Monaco, Lisa Monaco. Mm-hmm.
She's all over the Hunter Biden case.
And she's all over it. The head of the Civil Rights Division said so many racist things when she was not, obviously, at the Department of Justice, and yet she muscles through on her confirmation. She's the one going after 70-year-old pro-lifers and throwing them in prison for daring to protest in front of abortion clinics. And they're using the FACE Act in a very, very broad way to round up these people and imprison them. It's truly sick. You look at the criminal division, the guy heading the criminal division is an Obamaite. The public integrity section, which is under the criminal division, is run by him. The antitrust and civil divisions, I know these like the back of my hand. They're using them to go after these corporations and businesses and shake them down. You look at the criminal divisions going after Elon Musk now. That is the Southern District of New York. The U.S. Attorney's offices coordinate with Maine Justice on major cases involving major public figures. And in every instance, again, I know this from my own duties there, the Attorney General of the United States is informed when there is a major public figure, a major corporation involved in a criminal investigation, or is going to be involved in a criminal investigation, and he gets to, from a distance, oversee these things. They're actually going after Elon Musk now. They wouldn't go after Elon Musk if he wasn't at least sounding somewhat libertarian or conservative and didn't condemn what had taken place with Twitter and the censorship of the Biden regime. They're literally going after him, saying that he personally benefited because he's building some glass house and it was supposed to be for SpaceX or Tesla, but he benefited personally from it. I mean, who has ever seen anything like this? And isn't it amazing? Buffett's never done anything wrong. Gates has never done anything wrong. Soros.
Oh, the Clinton Foundation.
Clinton Foundation. My God, there ought to be 5,000 charges against them. But to answer your question, when your department acts like the old Stasi of East Germany, they're not going to get respect. They are destroying law and order in this country.
So a tree branch hit a power line in Ohio 2003, and it shut down 21 power plants. Around 100 people died. And we have a power grid that was designed in the 1800s. Even the White House sees it. They're saying 2/3 of the grid are at least 25 years old. So they recently announced billions of dollars to update it. And how long will that actually take? That's why having your own solar power may be more important than ever. With the Patriot Power Generator, you get a solar generator that does not install into your house because it's portable, but it's powerful enough for your phones, your medical devices, even your fridge. And right now you can go to 4patriots.com and use code MK to get 10% off your first purchase on anything in the store, including the Patriot Power Generator. You will also get their famous guarantee for an entire year after your order, plus free shipping on orders over $97. And a portion of every sale is donated to charities who support our veterans and their families. Just go to 4patriots.com and use code MK to get 10% off. That's 4patriots.com. Use code MK to get yours today. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.